All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to my channel. I'm Christy Barker. Thank you for stopping by. It's been a while since I've uploaded anything out here. I did a lot of my dance videos and I had to take some time off because I had to attend to some family matters, which we might talk on a little bit later. But I decided to have a conversation with my new good friend, Janice Owen, who's here, because she was kind enough to invite me onto her podcast to talk about the family matters that I spoke of earlier. So this is my friend Janice Owen. How you doing?
Hi. Hi, Christy. You look so cute. Thank you for having me.
Sure. So Janice has always been known for her bubbly, friendly, expressive, and confident personality. She's a leader at heart in her own terms and conditions. She always goes for what she wants for, and she gets it. The journey to her self-empowerment isn't always rainbows and butterflies. I can understand that. It was challenging to say the least. Janice has had to overcome so many obstacles in life, some deep losses with her loved ones and relationships, but somehow she always learns to get back up and loved more and became happier despite of everything. You're incredibly resilient, Janice. I know that much about you already. So she was featured on a popular dance show called Dance 360 back in 2007. Of course, I love that. She was in the LA Miss Chinatown beauty pageant in 2010. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Set her dreams to become her own boss by becoming a wedding and family professional photographer for over 8 years now and still currently on. Now, honestly, Janice, being your own boss is the way to go. I'm so impressed. She truly believes that all her fruition came to reality because of the simple fact she followed the law of attraction manifestation method. And she wants to share more with how anyone can become the best versions of themselves and create a life that they truly deserve. And she has a great podcast that we will talk about more later. So welcome, Janice. What a great bio. The LA Chinatown beauty pageant.
Yes, thank you for that beautiful introduction. I guess in a summary, right? How what I accomplished and things like that. But I think more importantly is that I overcame what I know and really just really study myself. And I'm truly proud of who I am today. Like I'm always learning. Obviously, it's never an ending destination. But it's just the progress of mastering yourself, and that's really my focus for today. Yeah, but thank you for that.
So tell me more about your childhood and what was that like for you growing up?
My childhood, I don't recall much memory of it because I'm still learning as like a trauma. Sometimes it can lead you to not remember things, but in a way, the good part about it is sometimes you don't want to remember the bad things, but also the bad things about that is, I would hear people reminiscing about their childhood where they're so precise about so clear about, oh, at 3 years old I remember I did this and this person. I don't have that. But anyway, long story short, my childhood was, I would say, very, content, happy in a home, loving home with parents and sibling. However, one thing I noticed that, because I was born and raised in Vietnam, so in the Asian culture, we were never really taught about words, affirmation words. Meaning, growing up, I would never hear my parents say, "I love you," "I am proud of you," "You are safe with me," "It's okay to make mistake." That's like that's not even in my consciousness at all. But instead, I would hear, uh, "You're so stupid. Why you don't know math?" Or "You what's wrong with you? Go stop crying. Be a big girl." The typical stuff that you hear negative talk from parents. So that's what I grew up with. We all struggle. So I guess I pretty much brought that belief system in my childhood, and where you feel unworthy of yourself and you don't feel enough. And this is why I realize that's why I'm drawn to certain friendship, certain circumstances and relationship that really really call out for what I truly gets conditioned as a child. It's like I'm not enough. So therefore I need to be around people who mimic this childhood trauma so I feel comfortable. So but now that I know, I'm gonna tell you about it, you can change it. You can reprogram what you grew up with.
For sure, for sure. So yeah, it sounds like obviously you're really interested in mindsets and something happened in your family. You've shared with me with an older sister. Do you want to share a bit more about that here? Ugh.
Oh yeah, yes, definitely. So first and foremost, I just want to say, this is just based on our stories and experiences. I just want to share with you. I'm not saying this is the truth. This is how it should be, because that's what makes us very unique. Is that we're here to empower each other by sharing stories and sharing our triumphs and things that we learn. And believe it or not, I I learned that humans have all this capability, but we're really a blank state, during our upbringing as a child. You don't know any better. You only know your mom and dad or your caretaker at the time, and whatever you see them doing and whatever behavior they're projecting on you, that's what you think it's real. It's so you absorb everything, and I see that now. So something happened to my older sister. She was a studious person. She socialized, beautiful. She has so many friends. Her and I didn't grow up together because she was in Vietnam at the time and I was in the United States. So I pretty much grew up as the only child throughout my childhood, up until college. So therefore, anyway, long story short, when I came back and visited her in Vietnam, I met the good part of her, the best version of her, the spontaneous, that she very educated. She is just a social butterfly, and I want to, like our little sister, they want to look up to their big sister. I want to be just like you. I can't wait to us for us to unite and blah 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 and build relationship. And then after a year, I came back to United States. She has a brainerism. You
Oh,
all heard that, right? A brainerism. I'm not sure the exact detail of it, but it's a stroke. We all know that, something can tick up in your brain, a nerve breakage. You never know. Anyway, she collapsed and went into what you call a coma. And when she woke up from this coma, she became a different person, as if she has reborn. She literally have to relearn how to feed herself, or obviously my parents have to be there and help her spoon fed her like a child again. And this during this time, she was about 20, 21 years old. Um, and she was just immense, fragile, physical phase where she just lost so much weight. I think she was 80, 90 pounds at the time. Um, and yeah, it's a really sad thing for, any family person to witness, to have it, your child will be like, wow. But either that or she just, some people don't recover and they just die, you know. So anyway, that I'm sorry to give you the long version, but here, really what sparked my interest was her having a brainerism. I literally, something intuitively was telling me, wow, what's here? This is the control mechanism of exactly our personality, everything. So, a click of a switch, we become a different person. And it's just like, such a powerful, like, wow moment for me. And then I become obsessive, Christy, with just brain. I'll start watching YouTube videos, books, anything you name it about what are the mindset, what trigger us, what's the difference between a poor person versus a wealthy person. It's about mindset, how they think, and how they use these thoughts and create a habit. It becomes, their character and becomes their destiny, that kind of thing. So that was pretty much my stem from um why I want to learn about the mind, because I saw that in my sister, and I think intuitively I want to protect myself. I was like, I'm in control of this. No one is living in my brain. It truly is. No one lives in your body. So it's up to you to safeguard this programming, this computer um, headquarter, you can say, and
Sure.
protect it with all your mighty.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how I really got into the mindset of things.
Yeah, it's a fascinating topic. I love it too. I like that you said headquarter. That's kind of yeah, it's like the headquarters.
Of
Uh,
Janice, or something.
Chris-
Headquarter of Christy, right?
yeah, yeah. So you've learned through your life experience how powerful words are, and you've adapted these to your life. And you're also a mother. I don't know if you want to share a little bit about how that's helped you with your two daughters with affirmations and stuff like that. Maybe you might have a suggestion,
Oh
affirmations,
yeah.
example of what you do with your daughters.
Yeah, definitely. So going back, because when I grew up, I didn't know any good affirmation, like I am enough, I love myself, I trust myself. None of that. So I have to credit to this Louise Hayes that I stumbled upon on YouTube, and she's really well known, and she has major trauma childhood that she went through, endure, and then here she is. She's teaching about self-love. I didn't even know what self-love is at that time until I stumbled upon a video of her, and she had this experiment where she went in the prison institution. Literally, she said, for a fact, nobody can really look at themselves in the mirror and say anything good about themselves. We're programmed to hate ourselves since we're childhood, because of what the media, because of social media, and especially now, and TV shows, whatever, like, oh, you gotta have this in order people to like you. Anyway, anyway, going back to Louise Hayes, she had this experiment. She went in the prison institute, and she had these prisoners have a mirror. Each of them hold a mirror, and they have to say, "I love you," and then their name. And then she'll teach them, like, yes, it's very uncomfortable at first to look at yourself and even say I love you to yourself, but she start teaching them about habitual things. Once you keep repeating, doing the same thing over and over again, it becomes normal, becomes like um attachment. So within 30 days, these inmates were able to say, wow, I can truly really love myself. I forgive for all the bad things I've done, and so on and so on. But really it starts with that. And so, the thing with my I guess life mantra is, I whatever I see on the internet, they say don't believe whatever you see, right? For my mantra is, I will try it, and if it works for me, I would take it and believe it and share with others. If it doesn't work for me, I will not even advertise it or any. I'm like, okay, that doesn't work, and then it's okay to move on to the next method. It's about using the certain method. And so going back with this affirmation, I started learning. I'm started doing for me. Like I'm like I knowing what I know with the whole mindset thing, you know what? Like, I want to better myself. I want to attract abundance and love. How do I do that? So, this affirmation I start doing every day, looking at myself in the mirror. I said, hey, Janice, and you did a good job today. You might not accomplish all your tasks, but you did your best. And I love you. I'm so proud of you. You are enough. Oh, Christy, really quick. I am enough. Also, I call this lady my YouTube therapist. Her name is Marissa Pierce. Please look her up.
Yeah.
She has this great way of explaining how the mind works. And her I guess her thing with the I am enough is, she said she worked with so many celebrity, any age, any circumstances. All comes down to their own problematic issue, is because they don't feel enough about themselves. So that's why these people are attracted to, fame, money. They think all this outer experience will make them happy, but it's truly because their inner emptiness, that they don't feel enough about themselves. And then once that is, cure or whatever, heal, they're able to like live a life that really fulfillment.
Yeah, yeah. I'm familiar with Marissa Peer. I love her voice. I love her accent. I think she's British. I
Yeah.
love the way she talks. And I also really love Louise Hay. Her work, her books really had a profound effect on my life. And I'd forgotten, or maybe I never knew about the prison, what you shared about her going in to talk to the prison, the inmates. That's, yeah, I like to use everything is working out for my highest good. That's one of the
Yeah.
Louise ones that I like, especially right now, or just in general, things seem kind of roller coastery, and that's just something I like to reinforce within myself, that even if it seems kind of crazy and I don't know what's going to happen, that whatever happens or once the dust settles, it's all working out for my highest good, even if it appears kind of mysterious and maybe a little frightening at times. So that's one I use.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Yeah.
And I don't know, have you stumbled upon one of Marissa's peers teaching about babies? I thought the things she said was just like so much common sense. It was just, anyway, she was saying like, babies, they're born, they're expected to be fed. They're expected to be changed. They have this innate in them where like I demand stuff and I'm gonna be taken care of without even thinking of that. They don't there's no insecurity. Insecurity is actually taught to you growing up, right? Through whatever our upbringings. But yeah, just look at a baby. Like, yeah, they walk around. That's why we're so drawn to children because they have this aura and energy where like I get what I want. I'm confident. I know myself. I love myself. All that. Like they're teaching us to really like come down to their level where stop thinking about what everyone is thinking about you. Just focus on yourself and just do you, and you're gonna attract the right people and circumstances in your life. And anyway, she was teaching something like that, and I just thought, you know what? If this affirmation really truly works for me, I know it will work for my children. So I have two beautiful daughters. They are now 6.5 and almost 5. But since they were little, I literally would carry them in my arm, looking in the mirror as well. And I was just like, I am love. I am affirmation every single day. Parents, if you don't do this for yourself, your children will never know. It's all about you. We have to having children, to be honest with you, from my perspective, and what I can say is we're really relearning and reprogramming about our own childhood. My having kids really teaches about me, how to ground myself, how to really like what you call it, like really realize what triggers me. Like, why is this triggering me? What did he or she do that like makes me feel this way? Like I have to find way to calm myself down to regulate my own inner behavior. And yeah, so I've been doing that since they're little, and now they can say the affirmation every single day. And I've been really, because we're programming our children to be strong from the inside out. I know that for parents, we can't protect them 24/7. They're going to be out in the real world, around surrounded by different type of people, personality, and some might be very negative to them. And so it's our job to really um, best let them know that, hey, if you say that I'm ugly, it will bounce back because I was taught that I'm beautiful. I wasn't taught this. Because if a child hear ugly and all this negativity in their home, that's what they'll get outside. But anyway, the whole programming, you don't you whatever you don't resonate, it will just bounce back. That's it.
That's such a valuable tool that you're modeling for your daughters. That's absolutely wonderful, Janice. Ah, it's just, I'm sure, well, I have to share. I was at the grocery store the other day and I saw this little girl who was just so cute. And she looked like she had leg braces on, like maybe she had some sort of disability, but and her mom was really sweet. The little girl was so like the world obviously revolved around her. but in a good way. It's like she just seemed to strut her stuff. She seemed to think she was the most beautiful child in the world. And because of that, she was, of course, your daughters are beautiful, but she had such a confidence, because I think we are innately born as children, as babies, with a very strong sense of self. And we're not afraid to, oh no, I'm not going to cry because my diaper needs change because I don't want to. No, we're like, all right, the babies they scream so loudly, and they're meant to do that. The world does revolve around them,
And
so.
I know, Christy, you work in the education
Mhm.
industry. Like, what are your experience with children around there? What are your, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's kind of like what I just said. I would, a lot of the children, they are, let me see how best to say this, but it's like they are self-absorbed, but it's not, it's because they have a confidence, like life hasn't, or circumstances haven't gotten to them quite yet,
Yeah.
or maybe the world or the media, or anything. Maybe they just kind of come in just with a strong sense of self. And sometimes when you're working in an educational position, you have to kind of prioritize, and kind of, as a mom, I'm sure too, where you have to also kind of get a sense of order and priority to your energy as the person, as the adult too. But they just seem to exude this sense of self, and it's just interesting. Yeah, like the girl I saw yesterday. She was so
And
cute.
yeah, and I don't know what forgot what the scientist said that, but from birth to 7 years old, you were the most programmed age years of your life. Everything that your parents does, say, do, it becomes your reality almost. That's how powerful kids' mindsets are because um, yeah, especially also what they watch too, and they were talking about the delta wave, beta wave, um, different type of wave mindset, because when you're consciously, when you're asleep, you're in delta wave, and then delta anyway, look up into that. I don't know the exact source, but there's neuroscientists talked about that, and it's like it's about the frequency, that because that's why children, maybe you see why they're so in tune with nature. They're not afraid of they will come up to a coyote if they want to, but because they don't know any better. I mean, because they're just like they're so curious about life, and you notice butterflies drawn to them and different things like they have no fear. That's another thing about children. It's like that's what they teach us, but yeah, it comes with everything that obviously, if as a parent or guardian or teachers, we have the power to teach the young to what's right and what's wrong, right, in the society. And but at the same time, we need to be also encouraged that they it's okay to have all these emotions. And I think the number one common thing that most of us growing up is that we are taught to not feel any of these emotions. Hey, you heard of these terms, big boy don't cry, big girls don't cry. um Crying is for wussy and stuff like that. Or oh, just stop yelling, go over there, go in the corner. Because we're if you see it as a child point of view, you're really like teaching them, telling them like you're you're validating that their emotions does not matter. So when they grow up, guess what? They borrow these emotions and they become what you call it, childhood trauma. And they become different type of, negative personalities out there, right? Narcissistic is one of them.
Yeah, we both know
So,
that. Yeah. Yeah. For another.
so
Yeah.
as yeah, that will be another big topic we'll cover,
Yeah.
narcissistic abuse and all that stuff. We all I'm sure, come across from one or another, someone we work with or someone in our families relationship, so on, so on. But that I when I found out that, like, I really embrace my own children's emotional being. So for instance, if they are having a tantrum, that's not the best way to do a lecture. They're not going to able to hear anything. So just imagine you're having this anxiety attack. You're just like, "Arr," and then someone's trying to give you a lesson. Are you going to absorb that? I don't think so. More more importantly, you want to have to have someone to come and say, hey, everything is okay. Give you a big hug. I'm here for you. You're safe with me. Let's just breathe and be calm together. And that's exactly what I do with my children is I just come over. I don't even say anything at all. I I mimic the calmness for their chaos. In other words, I just come and hug them and say, hey, it's okay. I know you're having a rough time right now, but I'm here for you. That's all you need to say. I'm here for you. And that is a safe keyword for children to hear, is that knowing that you will not judge them whether they're failing or doing miserable, whatever, feeling not, all about themselves right now, but knowing that, hey, my parents, my mom or dad got my back and I feel safe. That's to them, that is like golden. That's every child wants. They just want safety and that we love them unconditionally.
I don't know if how old were you when you came to America? How long were you in Vietnam?
I came here when I was 9 years old, so I started first grade. So English is not even my first, my second language. But yeah.
I'm so impressed because I learned a little bit of Spanish in high school, and right now I'm trying to learn Francais, French. Listen to me. It's so hard. I'm so impressed with people who can speak more than one language. I mean, that's so cool. Um, the reason why I was asking, because I just wasn't sure if did you ever hear, I remember being told to say this, and I remember hearing other kids saying this, but I actually think it's false. Did you ever hear, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me?
Yes.
Kind of not true. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, of course, sticks and stones can break our bones, but words can hurt us. Words that we say, even sometimes, not sometimes, but oftentimes words that other people say, and they are spells, there's spelling, and that's actually a subject in school. And our words are incredibly important, what we say and what we think. And so I think it's interesting that I was taught to say that as a kid, when it's actually, no, words can harm us. So I just thought I'd bring that up. I don't know if you were familiar with that little childhood slogan.
Yeah. Now that thanks to TikTok, I call it a red pill media platform because I'm learning so much from other people. And it's really, truly a great platform for people to educate one another without any judgment. Not everything, you don't have to buy everything, but sometimes it just clicked in your mind. You're like, wow, I never thought of that. Wow, you brought up something that really just I never thought of that technique or method. So someone brought up this power. Words are powerful and words are spells. And then if you really dig down the rabbit hole, right, you realize that some of these words, English words, where did it come from? What do they actually mean? So for example, I recently, I'm just learning, okay? I'm just not saying, I came across this video. This guy was saying, have you ever thought of where good morning comes from? Think about it. Mourning doesn't sound like mourn, like you're mourning for somebody's death, right? Or so instead of saying good morning, like grand rising, uh, good sunshine, or whatever it is, you start. And then you also have you ever heard of the weekdays and weekends?
Uh-huh.
So think
Tell us.
about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
We we're taught to say, yeah, end of the week, and then by Friday, oh, you should look forward to for the weekend. We literally have 2 days out of the week to, drink and party, and then by the weekend, you're feeling exhausted. You're like, oh God, Monday is here. I'm like, I gotta go back to work. So as I'm learning week, so we're taught week. So in math, replace it. Doesn't sound like weak, like weakening you. week. So weekdays, days, daza, very similar to days. You're just in the days of the week of during the week. You're just like, I'm just gonna work like a robot, 9 to 5, like a rat, blah, whatever. And then weekends, end is like you're ending your pretty much you're ending your life, like you're weakening your life.
Yeah,
That's what I mean. Weekend mean weakening your life. So I'm just like mind blown about stuff that I, heard, learn about this how words can be really manipulated without us even realizing. And we're just, I mean, we're up in program. I'm literally have to, like, every time I came into my mind, it's the weekdays, and I have to remind myself, it's just those days.
Yeah,
you know?
something I've had to program myself out of saying is, I'm so sick of this, or I'm so
Mm.
tired of this. Like, I'm so sick of this. I don't know, waiting to receive something in the mail, or I'm so tired of this. Our elevator's not working in our building. And I'm like, no, don't think that, or don't say that,
And you realize that more negative things happen to you, right?
Yeah. Don't
Afterwards.
say I'm sick. Don't say I'm tired, especially if you're not, unless you're really feeling not well, but if you're really just ranting, don't say, I'm sick and tired either. Don't say those things. If you can, we have to learn how to like back up, delete, move forward,
Yes.
or I think something like Louise Hay would probably say, I can't wait till our elevator, or no, maybe not even I can't wait. Maybe she would say, it'll be such a good day once the elevator is working again. It's like catching yourself and reprogramming yourself and putting a different thought in there. I think Marissa Peer would talk about that too. She's
Just
fantastic.
like you, I have this phrase growing up. When I remember, I always tell myself, why nothing happens for me? Why nothing good happened to me? That's like the number one thing, because I heard it from probably a TV show or someone talking in school, and I picked it up. Like, everything, why nothing works out for me? Or like, I'm such a good person when nothing. And guess what? I will go upon my life attracting the wrong relationship. People cheats on me, and then backstab friends and stuff like that, or I didn't get a good grade. I was like, oh my God. And then once I realized how important what you say to yourself, I'm like, no shit. Like, I'm drawn into all these circumstances and people in my life because I'm putting a spell on myself without even realizing it. Like, nothing else worked out for me. So Christy, what you know me, I come across a lot of manifestation videos that I've learned throughout the year, because I'm really like trying to self-hack myself, like delete, this thing doesn't work for me, I will reprogram it. It comes down to this affirmation. And please, if you need a rewind and write it down, I encourage you. And I also teach this to my children. They know word for word verbatim. And I feel that these affirmation will truly carry you on throughout your life. So instead of manifesting something very specific, for instance, oh, I need to track $1,000 in my bank account. There's all sort of method out there. People say, oh, write a fake check to yourself, like how Jim Carrey did that. Sometimes it works, sometimes or oh, I will manifest a job of this and that, or very something, anything specific. You know why that the stuff does not work? Because it's prone for failure. Because you're already giving your mind a catch and go, right? Hey, attract this, and then if something doesn't happen, guess what? You feel disappointed. And when you have a disappointment feeling, it actually make your manifestation feeling come true more, because you're projecting that feeling like, oh, nothing happens for me, you know it's becoming true. No, it is true, because it's all about feeling, it's about energetic. So this is the phrase I would teach myself, my kids, and everyone here. And it goes like this: I am so lucky, everything always work out for me, the universe always have my back, it is done. I always have more money than I need. I couldn't help it but attract lots of money and love into my life every single day. Life is good to me, and it's only getting better. You see the concept in that? I'm not drawn to anything specific, but I'm telling the universe, your higher self, God, whatever you believe in, that, hey, I'm very lucky. I know everything will always work out for me, no matter what. And guess what, Christy? Just like what I told you beginning, I will always try to see. I don't like another thing. You gotta let go of whatever you want to manifest. You don't like obsess about it. Oh, when is that love coming? When is that money coming? Just drop it all together. Live your life, enjoy your life, go on with your merry self and everything. Don't worry about it. Just let it go. for me personally, I have tracked a free paint car in my life.
Oh, what?
So I went in for oil change at my
Oh,
car dealer. And then the guy there was like, "Hey, your warranty, I didn't even know I have a warranty. Hey, but you're qualified for a free paint,
oh,
completely free, and we'll give you a free rental car." I'm like, "No catch? Really? Sign me on." Completely free. My car looked brand spanking new because of the paint. And on that, I got a free rental car for a month. So I was really like, woo! And then I attracted this Washington D.C. trip in my experience. Right before I attracted that, I remember writing down on my journal. I was just like, journaling something fun, like, hey, these are the ideal destination I would love to attract. Yeah, I love to go, bucket list, that kind of thing. I already wrote down Washington D.C. because I heard about this Washington D.C. Capitol Hill type of thing. I'm like, I'm always in California. I need to be out there somewhere. So that was one of the destination I wrote down. And then a couple of weeks later, one of my daughter's counselor uh, approached me and go, "Hey, you got chosen to be one of the parent ambassador here because you're so advocate about your children's learning and education. We would love to pick you to go to Washington D.C. for free, a whole week there for free. I met so many moms, learned so many things, and now I'm involved in the parent ambassador institute and really have a voice for our children in better education for early learning from birth to 5 years old." So yeah,
now,
so the simple things of saying everything always work out for me.
when you wrote down Washington, D.C., after
Yes.
that, you weren't obsessed with Washington, D.C., right?
No,
You weren't like,
I
oh,
totally forgot
yes.
about it.
You were like,
Yeah.
yeah, moving on, having a good time, doing my thing. And then, yeah, that's part of it too, is like, you don't want to get too obsessed about, you want to let it go too. You also want to let that stuff go and just do your best to feel good and, enjoy your life. And then, you don't want to be obsessed with what you want. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And
It's
one of the thing with the manifestor community, um, one thing I've learned by listening to a lot of method is that you got to focus on the end results. People tend to focus on, like, let me give an example, attracting a partner, right? They always kind of like, oh, I want this type of person, that personality, blah 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 down the list, and they're complaining, right? Like, how come this person's not here yet? And they're like, this is called an obsession. So you're pretty much telling the universe, like, hey, I don't have these things, so therefore you attract crickets. I'm sorry, but that's true.
totally, yeah.
Guess what? The result ending is that you become those personality that you want to attract. So let's say you want to attract a partner who is honest, who is outspoken, who is really a self-taker, a speaker, leader, anything. Be that person. You have to become it. Because if you think of yourself as an antenna, you're gonna look at the whole life a different perspective. We are in tune with the right frequency. Whatever you project out there, we're gonna attract certain people. Don't you notice, Christy? Once you really take care of yourself, healing your most trauma wounds or whatever it is, once you just like make that decision about, hey, I decided to become the best version of myself. I don't know whatever it takes, I will get myself there, whatever, right? You notice your friendship, your family, or so-called fake friends start falling off, right? You don't know why. Like, how come? I feel so isolated. I don't know these people. But when you're around them, you feel like you have to lower yourself to talk to their own whatever topics that you don't even resonate anymore. That's
Yeah.
when you know. That's when you know you're leveling at a higher vibration.
You're up leveling. It can be kind of a bummer, but that's what happens when you move up a level. Your life is up leveled, and sometimes you might not resonate with the same people, and we wish them well and all that, but maybe they're just not having the kind of conversations you want to have, or you're not having it's just, that's kind of part of life too.
It
Yeah.
is true. It is true. I think attachment is one of the most deadliest disease because we become attached to our old relationship. For instance, oh, I wish we had that. But as you know now, people grow and we evolve. If we don't, that's why they say, what's the secret to relationship? Is about growing with each other. It's not about trying to change each other or stay the same, right? It's about, hey, grow with me. I'm always evolving. This is how you find your I wouldn't even say soulmate, but I would say your what's that word? I forgot.
Twin
But
flame.
your huh?
The twin flame. People talk about a twin flame. That's not okay.
I'm learning about that too. Twin
I
flame, I said, it's like it's supposed to trigger you.
don't, okay.
Um, Soulmate, you can meet many soulmates in your life because of the different type of levelness, the level of consciousness you are at this time. You can meet a certain people and then match with your vibration, and they'll teach and give you a lesson, or they'll stay with you, and then you move on from there. So everyone has a different soulmate at every lifetime they're in. That's why you notice you gravitate on different type of group too, right? Like you're drawn to certain topics that you listen to and things like that. So it's the same thing with relationship and people. It's like you navigate on people who are like-minded because you feel comfortable around them. You feel like your family and home. So speaking of like that, like I met you to do the truth tour back in October. I don't know you. I don't, know what you went through, but somehow we connected like this
Well,
without even questioning.
yeah.
Like it's not like that's how do you explain that? Like someone you just like, wow, I really like her because she, whatever.
Well, we were both admiring a certain guy that's very handsome. So
That too. Yeah,
we had
that
that in
too.
common for sure. But yeah, it's really interesting how we come into people's lives, and sometimes we leave people's lives too. It's just like we're all orbiting and doing whatever it is. And I think this is a good time to talk about the podcast that you've started to
Oh,
do.
okay.
And I'm going to share my screen here. Well, why don't you talk about it? Then I'll share the screen. So your I Am Powerful movement.
Yeah, so I started this great podcast back in June of this year, so it's been only like 2 months old. But I'm something that is really passionate in my heart. Because I've been listening to so many podcasts throughout the years and learned so much from so many different consciousness and stories. I'm like, wow, giving a people a platform is such a powerful thing because it remind all of us how powerful we are and how our words and story can really impact others and make people realize that they're not alone. We all have similar upbringings. No matter where you are in the world, we are very alike. We are one in one way. So I call it I Am Powerful movement because it is truly a movement to let the people know that we are in power. So the people in power have no power at all. They just is an illusion because once we know they do everything in their own whatever you name it, decades of really dumbing us down. Let's just say, with the media, with everything, we programming, mind control, is to really suppress how to not letting us know how powerful we are. In other words, suppressing our own power. Like, hey, you should only think this way, and only this way at all. You can't think outside the box. And anyway, but I something was calling inside me, like I gotta do this. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So I just want to say here on my channel here how grateful I was that you invited me on to your podcast, I Am Powerful Movement, to talk about something very personal that happened within my family when I discovered that my father, who had Alzheimer's and dementia, was being financially exploited by people he trusted. So it really meant a lot to me. So I'm going to share my screen here. So, and the link to Janice, is it sharing? Can you see it?
I see it.
Okay, so the link to Janice's Instagram page and TikTok page, and also her YouTube page that I'm on right now, will be in the description of this video. So if anybody is curious to hear, look, there we are.
Yeah, we definitely did that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so about 2 weeks ago, we did this conversation where I shared about this event that happened in my life, and her other conversations that she has up here too. So it's called the I Am Powerful movement, and I will put all the contact or the links in the description for this video. I just think it's so great that you're taking all this passion and all this knowledge and all this experience that you have, and you're putting it out there for other people to start, because we're helping people, we're helping each other, just like you help your daughters, and just like I've worked with children. We're all helping adults to learn, and we're sharing information, and some things they might resonate with, some things they might not. We don't know, but I think I really admire the fact that you're putting yourself out there in this new way. So
Oh, thank you, Christy, for also being on my platform. And I got to learn so much about, your story, and your brave, how you're an advocate for elderly abuse now. And that's great because we are one day going to be old. We need people to support and know about the good and bad about that, so we be, you know, um, have a better life ahead of us. Yeah.
yeah,
So
and
thank you for that.
yeah, of course. Yeah. And I like the questions that you asked me at the end of your podcast. I want to ask you a similar question. What, if you could go back? Actually, I think it is the same question. If you could go back in time, I'm like, this is totally your idea. If you can go back in time, since we're talking about affirmations, and comfort your little girl self, what would you tell her? What would be the affirmations that you would want your younger self to know?
I would tell my younger self is don't be bombarded by what people are thinking and saying. Don't try to fit in this world, and because not everyone truly know who they are or even like themselves. You got to like yourself first and accept your flaws and triumphs and just go from there. I want to share like some of the quote, kind of like what you're saying. If I have a chance to say to my inner child, and which I also try to do that too, by the way. If you look at yourself in the mirror, same thing. You tell yourself, hey, you will never be harmed again. I love you, Janice. I'm here for you. I forgive you for all the things that you don't know in the past. But we're gonna be a good team and like let's get it. So one of the quote I want to share is a meaningful life is not being rich, being popular, or being perfect. It's about being real, being humble, being able to share ourselves to to touch the lives of others. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do and trying to give my platform to so many other people to really share their story. And the end of the day is that all that really matters is that your loved ones are well, you've done your best, and that you're thankful for all that you have. A lot of time people go about like, I don't have enough. I need more. I need this. If you look around, you're actually more rich than most people in the country. You have a roof over your head, you have food on your plate, you have people to come home to. And that's the most like I teach my kids, like, look at these people on the street. They have no home. I'm not here to judge them, but I said, that teaches you to be grateful for who you have in your life. It could be a moment like this where everything is taken away. You gotta be grateful for the little things. So don't look for the big things. And then another one is don't chase people. Become that. Be an example. Attract them. Work hard and be yourself. The right people belong in your life will come to you and find and stay. Just do your thing. And that's what I want to set a tone to really everyone listening is like we only have one life to live, and that what brought me to do my own podcast is like what I gotta lose. This is something I really want to do, and if something I didn't do when I didn't have a chance to, let's say at my deathbed, I will regret it. You hear all this deathbed regrets, right? So why not go for it? Go for whatever you have envision in your mind. You just never know. Just like my photography, I never knew I was able to people pay for my photography, but I'm able to do it for 8 years, loving what I do. And I really feel like being photographed, I'm able to put a part of my personality, a part of myself in each photograph because I'm seeing as an art. Like I want to capture your best, beautiful, genuine self in front of the camera. Laugh, tickle her. That's the best photo sometimes, those candid photos. But anyway, I just want to say thank you, Christy, for having me on your YouTube channel. we're we're learning from one another to be good interviewers. And I'm so happy and thankful for you to come into my life and also giving me an opportunity to share my story with everyone. And thank you.
It's
I
been
love
a
you.
I love you too. It's been a pleasure, Janice. And like I said, all the information for Janice will be in the description, so you can easily find her YouTube channel, her Instagram, and TikTok for I Am Powerful movement. So, all right, we're going to sign off. So thank you for watching this video. We hope you found it inspiring and that you enjoyed yourself. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.